Hello.
Hi, Kim. So I just want to jump into a few questions to ask you about the Permission to Live Again Life After Death program that possibly you could share your experience with others. So one of the things that I would love for you to speak about is what was your most profound moment or experience or understanding that you learned in this program that you can take with you moving forward?
I don't know if I can narrow it down to an exact moment. It's kind of a gradual sense of knowing that what I'm feeling and what I'm hearing, I'm really feeling and hearing. It's not in my head, it's real. Right.
Trust and believe that the signs and the messages and the connections that you were making with your loved ones and guides across the veil were actually true, and you could apply them to your daily living, and you could build off of that, in forming a relationship, an extended relationship with them from across the veil.
Yes. And like I told you about the rainbow thing, it helped me realize, the class helped me realize that, yeah, that really did happen like that. You know, he really did send you that message. You heard it and you thought it and you did it, but you weren't 100%, you were like 90% sure that that was what you were supposed to do, but you did it. And after taking the class, I realized that I wasn't crazy. That is what I was supposed to do.
Well, I love that. And that's where, like I said, you've accelerated in your ability to communicate, receive the message, and then deliver that, whether it's deliver it to someone else, whether it's apply it to your own life. And mind you say class, but this is a 12-week program, and you are working on yourself every day, every week, which leads me to the next question I have is, over the course of these 12 weeks where you and I met face to face, you were involved in some of the live Q&As that I did and would jump on and ask any question under the sun about spirituality, mediumship, connecting. What would you say was one of the hardest things that you had to address or take a look at or be a part of in this 12-week program?
I guess realizing that I make mistakes, and when I do something wrong or I'm doing something wrong, addressing it and fixing it, admitting, okay, this isn't working, this is incorrect, this is me, this isn't somebody else. So I have to fix my part in order for them to help me to get the help that I need.
There's something about being humble and sitting in humility and transparency and vulnerability to say, okay, I'm fallible, but I have all this support around me, and I can either learn it now and fix it, or I can come back another lifetime or have it hit me at a different angle or a different time frame of my life and have to have a redo of the lesson. And so that's one thing that I absolutely loved in working with you is, even though it was hard, you weren't afraid to take a look at yourself in the mirror. You weren't afraid to dig a little deeper and see how you could shift your narrative, how you could offer compassion to yourself instead of always offering it to others. You were able to bring a balance into the way that you were thinking, your mind, and the way that you were living from your soul, and you were able to share it with yourself. We do a lot of work on learning to love yourself, learning to identify who you are, what you need, what your needs are, so that you can be 100% complete when you go to offer service to others. And it's the hardest for caregivers to do. And it's hard when you've lost a loved one, but when you're able to get through the grief and move into, okay, now what? Now what do I do that my husband of 30 years is gone? What
Yeah.
kind of life am I going to create for me now? And I'd way rather have him on my side,
Yeah.
swirling from the top and bringing me opportunities and options than to sit alone and feel
Right.
abandoned and not smile again.
Right.
And so when you're having to look at those truths, right? When you're getting a reality check like that, it's hard. It's
And
hard to realize.
realizing that that I was my own worst enemy,
Yes.
because I was harder on myself than anybody else was. And I wasn't helping myself any by doing that. And I still will fall back into it once in a while, and I have
Of
to catch
course.
myself, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So we went over what was the most profound. We went over what was the hardest. Is there anything that you can think of you'd like to share with someone who is considering the Permission to Live Again Life After Death program? Any hints or tips or encouragement that you would like them to know before jumping in?
I just think it's definitely worth it. It's definitely worth the time, and it's worth the money, and but you have to be willing to give it 100% and really do all the work. You have to really be open to it. If you're not open to it, it's not going to help you. If you go into it thinking, I don't know, but if you go into it with the idea that this is something that's really going to help me open myself up, and you can really find the way to do that.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, if you're ready or not, if you're
Right.
living in excuses, whether it's financial, whether it's mental, emotional excuses that are going to keep you in your pain, you will know when you're ready not to sit in that pain anymore. And although it does require work, the investment in yourself to
Right.
take you from a level of suffering to a level of smiling and happiness and comfort and peace is definitely worth the investment in yourself to do that.
Right.
So,
And you're gonna spend a lot of time by yourself in quiet, really going inside yourself and thinking stuff through in order to really absorb and learn anything, have it make sense.
well, and that's the inner work. That's why my business originally was named Inner Healing. It's the inner work that is required. You don't get a fast pass on doing the inner work. That's required to heal, to grow, to transform. The mediumship aspect of this program is beautiful in that it allows your loved ones and your guides and your higher self across the veil to be a part of your journey. And trust me, you can attest to this. They chime in. They have a lot to say. They're gonna put you on the right path, and they're gonna love and support you from across the veil while you're doing this inner work. Right. They're doing the work too. I mean, some of the conversations that we've had offer forgiveness for you and for those across the veil. You're scoring points in your world, and they're scoring points in their world. They offer guidance and insight into things you just couldn't make sense of, or that you needed closure for, or that you needed just a deeper understanding so that you could move forward. And for the many years that I just did counseling and working with people who are grieving, it could heal the mind. It could help the mind understand the process of grieving. But when you bring in the mediumship and you're able to say, Sean, I'm struggling with this problem. Can we tune into my guides? I want to hear what my husband had to say. I want to hear what my parents want to say. Can they give me some guidance? And we tune in. That extra additional information can be life-changing. right? And when I can be the
Right.
voice for them, and you don't have to worry about doubting or your ego trying to say that it's your self-talk, and I can just be the voice for them to deliver the message for you, it gives
Right.
you a peace of mind and
Yeah.
a validation so that you can apply it to your life. And then when you go into meditation and do that inner work, they come through for you. Take me out of the picture. They come through for you with
Right.
extra validation and information and wisdom. And you walk away going, thanks, mom, or
Yeah.
thanks, husband or wife.
Yeah.
I really needed to hear that.
Yes. And the other thing was, if you do the work and you really work at it, I mean, there were a few times that I had done the work and really thought about things, and I had written all my notes, but it wasn't until I had the meeting with you and I would discuss my notes, and I would have missed what I had actually seen and learned, but you were able to just say, well, okay, go back. Now look at this. You just said this.
Mhm.
You just figured that out. And it was like, oh my God. Yeah, I did. But I didn't realize it. And so
Right.
having the weekly meetings with you
Mhm.
helps for the stuff that you miss.
Mhm.
You're able to catch that stuff and say, hey, you did make progress with this or whatever.
Well, and what you're talking about is what happens when you work with a mentor, when you work with somebody who is educated and invested in your progress, in your healing. We can all do things on our own. We can all Google information, YouTube it, read self-help books. But when you bring two minds together, and mind you, it's not just my mind and your loved ones and guides are chiming in. So the house is full. It
Yeah,
takes a village to work and on your problems and to raise a family. And that's what you
right,
get in this program
right,
is you get everybody coming to the table to support you. And when you're in your own head, or when you're doing it by yourself, or when you don't have accountability, or you don't have support, connection, direction, you miss a lot. But I can
yeah,
tell you, I'm not going to let you miss it. Your guides and loved
right,
ones are not going to let you miss it. And your higher self, which is guiding all of it, knows that you're putting in the work, and they don't want you to walk away not having recognized your wins. And that's
right.
what
And
you get.
that's what you were able to point out for me a couple of times, a number of times, which was like, oh my God, yeah, I didn't even realize I got that, but I did,
Right.
and it's good to have someone to talk to that can help you realize a lot of that stuff.
Mhm. Well, I love doing that work. I love working with people such as yourself who are ready to do the work, and who are ready to just feel empowered again and feel like they have a life that was given to them with a purpose, and they have a drive to live a purpose driven life. I mean, that's
Right.
really what it's all about, and your loved ones want that, and they move mountains to try to help you with it. They can't tell you what to do. They're not going to judge you for what you do, but if you say, hey, I need help, will you help me? Boom,
Uh-huh.
they come down, they set you up, they have a voice, you feel it,
Yes,
you
they
hear
do.
it, and you walk with them side by side, or should I say fly with them side by side, instead of feeling separated from them in their passing. There's nothing like a person who gets it, who has been through one of my programs, who is
I've been
seeing,
through two now.
yeah, two of them, thank you, and who seeing it work in your life, right? You're actually
Yeah.
seeing the results of all the work you've put in Permission to Live Again and Mediumship Unveiled. You're seeing the work develop in
Yeah.
your common everyday life. And that's what people need to know about and hear, because I can talk about it all day long, but when you have somebody that's seeing
Right.
progress of their work, it's undeniable, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. So
Okay.
thank you. Okay.
Awesome. Well, we'll see you.
Okay.
Have a
Thanks,
good
Kim.
one.
You too.
Thanks.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.